A savoury blend of vinegar, grapes and caramel. A subtle infusion of basil or a crunchy flake of oatmeal. They're called flurry, fantasy, deli or envy, and represent the new image of chocolate. Once just a simple consumer product, chocolate has become the stuff of imaginative dreams and gourmet fantasies. It is no longer merely common merchandise, but is showcased and exhibited, poetry in a jewelry box. This is the author of these chocolate poems. A biker, a rock and roller, Patrick Roger. Presented with a Craftsman of the Year award in 2000, he is part of France's chocolate avant-garde. Here in his vast 700 square metre laboratory in Sceaux, the artist and his assistants prepare millions of chocolates, from classic pralines and creamy truffles to more original creations.
Stéphano? Oui, chef.
Today the aim is to make a hemisphere. That's the basic principle. The idea comes from when I was a kid, and I loved licorice. I still do. Like torpedoes and comfits and the licorice wheels, all that. I really want to combine it with a fruit, and I think blackcurrant and blueberry could go really well with it.
Patrick Roger loves experimenting and inventing new chocolates. Today he's indulging a childhood fondness for licorice and testing blueberries and lemons. The chef is known for his love of good homegrown products, reminders of the taste of the countryside where he grew up.
Taste this. Sounds crazy, but I think this is asking for a bit of basil too.
Patrick creates by associating a variety of ideas that often seem incompatible.
We add it at the end?
Yeah, we'll infuse the basil into the mixture. Cyril, I've got an idea. He doesn't like my ideas. We've just made a new almond and blackcurrant paste, and the idea is to add another texture to the filling. So you'll get different sensations when you taste it.
Basil and almond paste, but still no chocolate. One could almost forget he's a chocolate maker.
Is it good?
Yeah. There shouldn't be too much almond paste.
His combinations of basic products and more exotic ingredients always have a hidden meaning.
Don't say it's good for my sake.
No, it is good.
It's just a question of a mix, a particular moment or a smell. And suddenly you say, yes, that's it, that's what I want. I don't look for ideas, I've never really looked for anything I've done. It's just that suddenly I get a brainwave. It's like I've got a taste of licorice, I've eaten a sweet, and then, right, that's it. There's something that triggers it off. The first ingredient is licorice, and I'll say to myself, what can I combine it with? And immediately I'm drawn towards a dark-coloured fruit, for example. And that's how I concoct my recipe. But the alchemy is very difficult to explain. It's quite simply a question of the right taste, but trying to explain it is impossible.
So is Patrick Roger a chef or a mad chocolate magician? Any definition is perhaps pointless, and despite appearances, it is a chocolate he's making here, with licorice powder, blueberries and basil. So what's the verdict?
I think it needs basil. When you eat, you add salt and pepper, right? Well, I add basil too. I balance the taste. If you eat vegetables without any salt or seasoning, it'll be bland. So we try to find a balance in terms of taste.
It's only when the soup is to his taste that Patrick finally introduces the cocoa element. For the filling of this new creation, he's chosen a blend of white and dark chocolate. The creative process may appear haphazard and even downright weird, but Patrick Roger has his own logic that his assistants try to follow.
It's like saying what a painter is thinking when he draws an outline. I don't know. It comes from somewhere inside him. We're assistants. We give our opinions and suggest an idea sometimes, if we have one. We understand, but ultimately, looking at each step and understanding what we did to get to the end result, it's impossible to explain.
We've seen the artist in the kitchen, now we see the artist in his studio. Although it's not paint in his pistol, but cocoa butter with food colorings. Patrick wants to create a new shell for his new chocolate. A hemisphere with a blueberry hue.
The aim is to convey the fruit from the outset, so that when you see it, you already have the feeling you're being transported towards a taste. Something you will recognize, that's the aim. Like with a painting, where every element is different, but where you can anticipate the taste just by looking at it.
Little by little, with 4 different colored layers, he tries to find the appropriate tone. It takes 69 hours of work to create a chocolate like this one, 3 times longer than a classic chocolate. This hemisphere will be sold for €2 each in a store. The work and the result is literally brilliant.
I love the light that goes inside, the transparency. That's what's so beautiful. And that's the idea, having like a contemporary painting where it really hits you. Even for me, even if I dream it up like that, it's not certain it'll end up that way.
And you dreamed of it like this?
Well, here I imagined this kind of painting effect where each piece is different, unique and truly exceptional.
The experiment is concluded with the final essential step, the filling. The symbiosis between contemporary art and fine cuisine, the birth of a new chocolate. Patrick Roger summons all the chocolate makers. It's the moment of truth. They observe and taste, and just because he's the boss doesn't mean they'll be lenient.
Perhaps it's not dark enough. That's good.
I think there's too much acidity in relation to the fruit. Maybe we'll have to alter the recipe a bit. As usual, we improve it every time. We do tests, and then we'll see how we can improve the recipe for the next time, and perhaps we'll bring out the taste of the blueberry a bit more.
The taste isn't perfect today, but visually we got something exceptional. We work on the taste tonight.
A recipe never comes out right the first time.
It's like Formula One. For any one circuit, there are problems with the setups. You have to make adjustments. Obviously, we have the best car or the best chocolates, and so we make the various parameters to obtain the best taste.
What's being done here isn't being done anywhere else, that's for sure.
It's not crazy in the sense of being deranged, but crazy in the sense of being
audacious.
Audacious.
There would be no chocolate Formula One or crazy chocolate makers if there was no demand to stimulate their creativity. We head for Muddelsheim, 12 kilometers from Strasbourg. We have an appointment with another chocolate maker who is innovating to satisfy his customers. So what's he making? Some rather strange concoctions.
This is home-cooked foie gras that we've cut into slices. I'm adding a thin layer of chocolate so they'll be easier to coat, because it's very tricky to coat. We're making some chocolate sweets with foie gras.
Unusual sweets, delicately coated in liquid chocolate. Thierry Mulhaupt is preparing a special menu for this evening, an all-chocolate menu for a group of connoisseurs. Every dish will contain some cocoa-based ingredient, from the aperitif to the dessert. Combining chocolate and foie gras is one of this chef's specialities.
Foie gras and chocolate go very well together, as there's a certain harmony between the two bitter tastes. We have the extremely mellow aspect of the fat in the foie gras, which compensates for the somewhat harsher bitterness of the chocolate. So we're working with flavors that are both similar, which go together, and also contrasting them in terms of the bitterness and the saltiness. But it will contain very little sugar, just enough to provide crispiness and bring out an underlying woody, salty flavor.
Thierry sets no limits on his creativity. With a little finesse and invention, anything can go with chocolate, even chorizo.
I'm a chocolate maker who likes meat products. This is a chorizo from the Basque country, which is amazing, with a very spicy flavor. It'll form a very thin disc between two layers of chocolate. We have a more salty tone here. The chocolate coating contains 66% cocoa, and it'll introduce quite a bitter taste, with very little sugar.
The tasting takes place in a wine cellar. Around 20 guests have come to experience the all-chocolate extravaganza. Thierry starts them off with some savoury twists made from cocoa, black olives and almonds, and his renowned chorizo chocolate appetizers.
I don't like chorizo, but this is delicious.
I'm getting the same nuances as with chocolate, strange as that may seem. But the fatty aspect with the chocolate is very interesting.
The hors d'oeuvres are accompanied by one of the chef's more surprising inventions, chocolate beer.
To make beer, you need water, very pure water. You need hops. For a dark beer, you need malted barley. And here we have a rather special malted barley. We use what we call a chocolate malt, so there's already a bit of a cocoa taste there. And then we have the cocoa beans that we crush and add to the malt to be brewed.
The beer is savoured like fine wine.
I find it quite explosive from the start. You can really taste the hops and the cocoa beans. But there's not much in terms of aftertaste. In my view, that's the problem with beer.
There's quite a sophisticated range of tastes with a nice smell, which is quite flowery.
The rest of the meal is based on 7 chocolate bites. Milk chocolate broth served on a cube of foie gras.
It's very good. Very, very good.
Some cocoa-flavoured spring rolls.
The impression is that you're eating a traditional spring roll with a hint of chocolate, which is quite odd, but it blends well.
Followed by a risotto of raw ham, chanterelle mushrooms and chocolate. The final touch is the foie gras bonbon and a chocolate and truffle tart. A festival of flavours to stimulate anybody's taste buds.
They're really quite interesting in terms of the surprising taste, melting in your mouth.
It doesn't take anything away from the chocolate. Quite the contrary, it opens up new combinations between the chocolate and the other foodstuffs, and I think it's fabulous.
Thierry's used different chocolates, different cocoa beans from Ecuador or the Caribbean, with different percentages of cocoa, and it was really very nice.
True chocolate experts understand all the finer points and characteristics. The latest trend is to treat chocolate like wine. People speak of the Grand Cru or the best plants. Eating chocolate leads to a trip around the world to the producing countries. A trip that can begin in your local supermarket. Brazil, Colombia, Madagascar. We no longer just buy a simple bar of chocolate, but a particular growth with specific characteristics. Industrial and small-scale confectioners have encouraged such discernment, and chocolate has become a noble and complex product. We set out on a journey of discovery. Patrick Roger wants to be the best, and therefore needs to find the best sources.
We've arrived at Guayaquil in Ecuador. It's one of the bastions of chocolate. I have goosebumps with excellent cocoa beans.
You've come more than 10,000 kilometers just to see some cocoa beans.
It's the least I can do. If you want to do your job properly and be familiar with your products, it's important to know the growers here, whether they're small or large-scale farmers.
Guayaquil is the economic capital of Ecuador, one of the world's leading cocoa producers, with 110,000 tons per year. It is particularly reputed for its fine chocolate with subtle, balanced flavors. This man will escort Patrick during his trip. He's responsible for selecting the beans for the chocolate maker.
André Debert is the man. He enables us to obtain very fine, high-quality cocoa beans. He's someone that I really appreciate. I'm getting emotional here, for the quality of his work and for what he enables us to do. I've got goosebumps again.
We mustn't forget that in order to make good chocolate creams, you need a chocolate that has character, that allows them to express their art. We work on providing them with the chocolate they need.
For Patrick to understand the mysteries of the production process, we head for the plantations. 3 hours by road from Guayaquil is one of the oldest cocoa producing regions in the country. At the foot of the Andes lies San José del Tambo. It is here that the chocolate maker's practical education begins.
They're fantastic.
This is the owner.
André's job is to strike gold, to find the best pods, which contain the best beans.
This is the classical shape, you see. You have the neck here and the rounded point, as it were, at the bottom there. This form has quite pronounced grooves compared to other cocoa pods.
That's what you're looking for?
Right, that's what we're looking for here in Ecuador.
How do you distinguish the pods, the good from the bad?
Well, the cocoa fruit here, when it's ripe, it turns yellow. When it's not ripe, it's green, and when it's ripe, it's yellow. If you look at pods like this one, this is a more recent variety, which was introduced to Ecuador much more recently. It's called the CCN51. It's a hybrid manufactured by humans, we could say, by an agronomist. It's very productive, but it's not good. It shouldn't be part of Ecuador's cocoa production, and we don't use it.
Can we taste both of them? To see the difference?
The fine cocoa from Ecuador is one of the most renowned around the world. What Patrick wants to do is to identify the best beans.
Here, you can taste this.
But it's not easy, as the beans don't taste of chocolate yet.
We'll begin with what's good. What are this one's characteristics?
Well, this one's very fine, with no bitterness.
Is there a hint of rose or lychee?
Just a little bit of rose.
Very slight traces.
Very little. But it looks good inside.
Yeah, it looks good.
But there's no difference with the other one, do you agree?
That's where it gets complicated.
It's unpleasant. To start with, you don't really taste it, but afterwards there's a kind of acidity and sharpness.
The sharpness is more on
the bean.
It's on the bean itself. And then there's the acidity. Yeah.
Yeah, the acidity and an aftertaste that isn't very nice. I would remind you that the characteristics of fine Ecuadorian cocoa, of what we're looking for, is something with a fruity basis. Not many people today would say this about the characteristics of fine Ecuadorian cocoa, but the basis should be fruity. On principle, the cocoa should be mild, and on top of that we have more floral notes, with jasmine and rose in general.
Cocoa products that have no problems are rare. It just doesn't exist. The aim is to minimize those problems, and that's why we do all this work with André. I insist on having the most workable products with as few defects as possible, because it's a very complex process. And for us, the problem is that when we work on the chocolate later, we can amplify any defects that may be there.
Few defects and floral aromas not to be found anywhere else. The selection of the best varieties is a prerequisite for the creation of exceptional chocolates. The second lesson concerns the fermentation of the cocoa beans.
It's amazing here.
It's an important step, as the first real flavors and aromas are created here. By working with the producers, André can guarantee that the operation goes well.
It smells good. For the first 2 days, you leave the cocoa alone. You don't touch it. You do like Don Jacinto, you cover it with banana leaves.
I thought it had to be stirred to get a good mix.
Not during the first 2 days.
And we have the same temperature in the middle and at the edge?
Yes, but for the moment, the temperature doesn't come into play. This first step is primordial. If it doesn't work, the whole thing's a disaster.
Even if you have great beans to start with?
Everything's wasted.
Down below, the fermented beans dry in the open air. Patrick tastes and asks questions. A luxury chocolate maker has to understand everything in order to perfect his art.
This one's still violet.
How long does it take to dry?
It'll dry here for 5 or 6 days.
This is really the beginning of the cooking process. The feelings and ideas start here. And for all the different things I make, I can begin to choose the various products. I think that one of the difficulties, like in my job too, is to be consistent.
Exactly.
We ask them to be much more regular and stable because when you create a recipe that depends on the predictability of a product, they need to be efficient from the start, otherwise later everything's out of line.
And it's very complicated because there are parameters involved that change according to the season. You won't get the same taste if your beans are harvested after a particularly rainy season or after a dry season.
We've really got the taste of the cocoa here. It's unbelievable.
In the finicky perfectionist department, Patrick and André make a fine pair. They're constantly in pursuit of excellence. And the bean hunter doesn't only select the best cocoa pods, he has bigger ambitions. For the past 5 years, he's been working on safeguarding Ecuador's finest cocoa plants. How? By creating clones. These workers have been trained to graft the best varieties of Theobroma cacao.
You take a tree and you say, this tree is very productive and it has a great taste, so I want to reproduce it. If you start with the seeds, you can't be certain that the tree will be reproduced identically because genetically there are hybrids and you never know the plant's entire genealogy. Grafting enables you to create an identical tree with certainty, and this is their heritage. It's the identity of what we call fine Ecuadorian cocoa. So it's an urgent matter today, regenerating the plantations, safeguarding this raw material, otherwise it'll disappear.
Patrick Roger is obviously very interested in this conservation mission.
I have to be committed to seeing this continue, otherwise I won't have the right chocolate, the best cocoa mass, and I'll have problems with initial and secondary tastes, and above all, not the right raw material.
Would that be a problem?
Catastrophic, yes.
How old are they? They were planted 8 months ago.
So in 2 years' time?
We'll have the first fruits.
The whole thing's insane. You need to be mad. I'm just the logical consequence of all this work, which is mind-boggling. To succeed in selecting the right plants, growing them, shelling the pods, obtaining the beans, roasting them, covering them, transporting them, transforming them and supplying the customers, it's insane. You have to be mad. From A to Z.
On these South American lands, before chocolate itself was born, cocoa beans were first put to use. More than 1,000 years BC, the Aztecs didn't bite into a chocolate bar, but smeared cocoa butter on their skin to treat wounds and burns. 3,000 years later in France, the cosmetics industry seems to be rediscovering chocolate's dermatological properties. The latest fashion is cocoa therapy. With active ingredients, cocoa butter or perfumes, chocolate is everywhere. Most beauty parlors today provide chocolate-based treatments.
Hello. Bonjour. Hello. If you'd like to come this way.
Sylvie is a regular spa customer and has decided to try a chocolate body wrap for the first time. The first step is to be iced over like a cake.
At first, when the chocolate slides over your skin, it's very pleasant, with the heat and the smoothness.
The body wrap is supposed to combat stress and fatigue.
I'm a food lover, so I wanted to try out this chocolate treatment for the sort of warmth and the indulgence of it.
The plastic film helps the pores to dilate and the active ingredients to penetrate the skin.
It has moisturizing and nourishing properties and a slimming effect. And through the smell, it also has a relaxing quality.
During 20 minutes, the chocolate soaks into the skin. It's a 21st century version of the Amerindians' ancient rituals.
The cocoa butter and shea butter too has moisturizing and nourishing properties. The cocoa is also a defense against free radicals that are responsible for the aging of the skin.
The Mayans covered themselves with a mix of rainwater, flower petals and cocoa to eliminate fatigue. Today, beauticians extol the antioxidant virtues of chocolate. And the icing on the cake is, it appears to be rather pleasant.
This is much more relaxing and gentle than the treatments I usually have, which are much more for cleaning. This is really very soothing.
We're going to apply a mask. It's a chocolate mask that you'll be able to taste. You can dip your finger in it.
It's chocolate?
Yes, it's chocolate fondue.
This is the only edible chocolate mask. A real chocolate fondue made by a confectioner. It contains 64% cocoa solids and has to be served hot on the skin. It's a profitable idea. The full chocolate treatment for face and body costs €168, a price that consumers are prepared to pay, with back to nature being a market trend.
It's a change from other facials because here they can actually taste the mask. And for people who like chocolate, it must be nice.
Being able to eat what's applied to your face proves that it's natural. And applying something that isn't chemical is a good thing. The fact of applying chocolate is a bit weird for me because usually I eat chocolate. So I suppose it's a rather strange experience.
A rather particular experience indeed, but not only. In contact with the skin, the chocolate is said to release desire hormones, hormones that release tension, provide a sense of well-being and even euphoria. Is this just fantasy or a real scientific benefit? We asked a dermatologist if chocolate really is a miracle beauty product or merely a marketing gimmick.
I think we can expect a moisturizing effect from these products. Some of them are shower gels with a cleansing effect, and they don't affect the skin. But I also think we need to pay attention when we buy these products that are marked chocolate, and to distinguish those that only have a chocolate aroma from those that have actual chocolate ingredients. The ones that smell of chocolate only have synthetic perfumes, so they're of no interest. We know that in the chocolate there are polyphenols, which are anti-free radicals, anti-aging, but only in minimal doses. And we're really not sure that these substances penetrate the skin. We need to have a certain perspective on these chocolate skin creams, as no scientific team from any major institute has so far shown the benefits of the creams.
When the conquistadors brought cocoa back to Europe from the New World, it was soon sold as a drink or tonic by apothecaries. As well as being good for the skin, chocolate is said to be healthy too. We went to check this out in Brussels at the world's biggest chocolate manufacturer. Welcome to the world of wacky chocolate scientists. Research is done here to create new chocolate bars that are good for our health. Herwig Bernhard works on anti-aging factors, and Marieke de Brouwer is developing a chocolate that is good for teeth. Cocoa's real treasure resides in its beans, in flavanols, compounds that have become veritable stars. Scientific research has revealed them to be natural antioxidants. They could therefore prevent certain diseases, such as cancer and heart ailments. Herwig is obsessed with flavanols, and for several months has been developing flavanol-enriched chocolates.
The most important health aspect is the reduction of stress. But there's also a beneficial effect on the skin. For example, if we eat just 8 or 9 of these little chocolates, we see a reduction in wrinkles and an improvement in our skin moisture content. It acts like a skin cream.
Herwig is looking to increase the quantity of flavanols in his chocolates. The aim is to approach medicinal levels with higher doses of the active molecules.
In the total quantity here, we can see a dosage of about 3% in the chocolate. This means that with a quantity of 7 grams of dark chocolate, like this, it's sufficient to have a beneficial effect on health. The objective is to maintain a decent taste, because the flavanols have a rather sharp taste, and it's not very nice eating an acidy chocolate. The project we have here is to find a balance between a good taste and the quantity of flavanols.
For her part, Marieke is working on a rather surprising invention. Chocolate that's good for teeth, aimed at children. The secret of the invention is a new type of sugar, isomaltulose, which apparently does not cause tooth decay.
Bacteria don't know this sugar. They don't recognize this type of sugar, and they can't attack this type of sugar. And because of that, there's no fermentation process. There's no acidity that's formed. And so the teeth are protected.
The effectiveness of this chocolate on teeth has already been tested. But before it's commercialized, they have to make sure it tastes good. Tasting session is organized among members of the research team. Marike's questionnaire asks if the chocolate is creamy enough, if it melts in the mouth and has an aftertaste. By refuting the image that chocolate is bad for one's teeth, the industrialists hope to convince parents and win over new customers.
Okay.
So what's the verdict?
It's good chocolate, with a good cocoa taste, a little caramelized, with a slight taste of milk, so it's perfect.
Are you going to commercialize it?
Oh, yes. We're going to launch this product, and we hope it sells very well.
Be it the prevention of tooth decay or cardiovascular disease, chocolate is seen as a wonder product, a boon for chocolate manufacturers looking to corner new markets. But are these new products not just encouraging consumption? To find out, we visit a dietitian, taking samples of everything available in the shops, from vitamin and mineral-enriched chocolate to bars with added omega-3 or guarana.
As a dietitian, I see these elements essentially as marketing ploys to promote chocolate consumption. Chocolate is neither medicine nor a food supplement. It's something we eat for pleasure and for the taste, whatever you want. Studies have shown that chocolate provides interesting sources of magnesium, antioxidants, phosphor, potassium, etc. So yes, chocolate does contain interesting micronutrients, but I think we mustn't forget that chocolate also contains 500 or 550 calories for 100 grams. So in a tablet like this one, you have almost the equivalent of a meal.
So basically, eating too much chocolate increases weight, and too much weight causes disease. But if you can't live without chocolate, there is an alternative way to appreciate it. We go back to see Patrick Roger. These chocolate bars are not going to be eaten. They're going to form a work of art. The obsessive chocolate maker is also a sculptor.
So here I'm going to stick these mini tablets together to start building the town. We begin like that. I'm going to make some buildings. The subject of this artistic piece is a town. I pile the chocolate bricks one on top of the other. It starts off very simply, but afterwards I'll be making some tower blocks and some increasingly complex buildings. This commission is for Marianne Denicourt. We have to deliver it for her play, so now I just have to build a city.
It's a race against time. In 3 weeks, Patrick has to present the sculpture to Marianne Denicourt. The actress is a big chocolate fan, and her agent wants to surprise her on the opening night of her latest play, entitled La Ville. It will be a town composed of small chocolate bricks. A risky choice, as the construction will be very fragile.
I have to deliver it in Paris. That's going to be fun.
This is by no means Patrick's first chocolate sculpture. He's already made a number of ambitious pieces using a variety of different techniques.
This one involves sculpting directly into the block, like with marble. This was the first of a number of very nice early pieces. That one was my fourth, and I was tackling something very ambitious. That was in 1994, 1996. I competed for the first time in the Best Craftsman in France contest, but I didn't win. And then in 2000, I became the best craftsman in France with this piece in the qualifying heat, and my reputation was made.
Since then, he has continued to innovate. His airbrush is filled with coloured cocoa butter to paint a row of inverted hearts.
I'm working on a piece for Marianne. There'll be a number of elements, like the Sydney Theatre, which are very architectural, and that will be set in the city. Obviously, with this type of order, you have to know the person as well as possible. In this case, I know she's someone who's very sensual, very feminine, and to begin with these little inverted hearts with a rich, warm aspect is really very important.
Patrick has many long hours of work ahead before the city will take shape. Some distance away, at Meilleur in the Yvelines department, is another temple to chocolate sculpture. The guardian of the temple is Hélène, a chocolate maker's daughter. Her workplace is rather unusual.
I'm going to try to make a little trainer. In fact, I'd like to make a whole series of shoes with a different shoe for each member of the family. Work shoes for a dad who does DIY, shoes for a businessman dad, sexy shoes for mom, hiking boots, and shoes for a little boy. So here we're going to try and make a little sneaker.
Hélène is not a cobbler. She's the queen of chocolate sculpture. Today, she's decided to make a chocolate training shoe based on a real child's model. Her methods are very different from Patrick Roger's.
So here I'm putting a sheet of foodstuff quality PVC on the shoe. I turn on the vacuum pump And we'll heat the plastic. It's like a big toaster with a big heating element.
She doesn't sculpt by hand, but makes molds to make series of sculptures. An off-the-wall idea she got from her studies.
My training in design led me towards household objects. When my parents were thinking of retiring, I said to myself, instead of making lamps or chairs, which a lot of people do, why not apply what I'd learned to working with chocolate? And so I approached chocolate as a material, as if I was working with wood or ceramics. It wasn't necessarily an obvious move at first, so I told my parents that I'd work with them for a year or two and try out this concept of making chocolate objects and see if it worked, or if we were way out of line and nobody was interested.
The idea soon caught on. The chocolate sculptures became the business's trademark products.
I've made the trainers look. It works really well. I'd like you to try it.
The laboratory is just above her workshop, and so it's easy to put her wildest ideas to a life-size test with chocolate.
We're going to run some tests. Quite often, we have to make some alterations for the removal from the mold or to bring out the details better. We generally have to do 2 or 3 test runs before launching a whole series.
Hélène's creations have radically changed the factory's working methods.
Six years ago, I didn't imagine that one day I'd be asked to make chocolate shoes or boxes, and that children, even adults, will be so impressed by what I've made.
The first phase of testing is complete. The removal from the mold goes well, and Hélène can move on to the next step.
Is it okay?
Right, let's see. I can't wait. Yes, it's good.
It's okay? So I can continue?
Yes, go ahead. We'll make a dozen or so and we'll try out the decoration on them.
She works the chocolate as if it were a painting, with a brush or a knife.
With the pigments, I bring out the details from the parts in relief. We work with pigments diluted in alcohol, and we can have quite powdery textures like I have here. Or we use very diluted pigments, which are like watercolors. So what do you think?
It's great. I love it.
Some mornings at breakfast, I just can't help myself. I'll pick up a pen and paper and start doing some drawings. I always need to have a new creation underway.
Her imagination is certainly fertile. In general, before launching a whole series, Helen tests the results among the customers. It's not hard, as the store is just downstairs.
I like being in the shop, and I spend at least one day a week here in order to get feedback from the clients, how they react to what we offer. I listen to their comments, and sometimes the products themselves are made in reaction to what the clients have to say.
Her works of art are exposed in the shop as in a museum. Works of art with a price, from 70 to 200 euros for these hand-sculpted and painted boxes. But these exhibits can be eaten and apparently draw crowds of admirers. Some customers feast on them with their eyes only, others are more than intrigued.
Is that paint on it?
Well, I think we'll have to ask them the question. But I'm sure it's food coloring. I don't know what products they use, we should find out. But in any case, it is chocolate.
So what surprises you the most? Back there, we saw some chocolate shoes. All chocolate. It was very strange. From a distance, they looked just like real shoes.
You can have classical or less classical.
I'll stay classical.
36 euros for this high-heel shoe, the price of a nice bouquet of flowers.
It's a bit ordinary offering a box of chocolates or a bunch of flowers, but this is a bit more original, and I think it would be more appealing. We can almost see it as a work of art. We can make shoes out of wood or glass, we can make sculptures, and that's what she's doing. She highlights the artistic side of things, and she's really very creative.
And her creations are available to everyone, as her sculptures are made in series. Hélène makes this chocolate dream accessible. Monumental sculpture, on the other hand, is a one-off experience. We're back in Sceaux. After 80 hours' work, Patrick Roger is finally putting the finishing touches to his city sculpture for Marianne Denicourt.
To make the park and the gardens, I've used some lime caramels and a yuzu caramel for the promenade, like in Nice, the Promenade des Anglais. The river here is done using my leaf technique with a folded leaf. Then you have the elevated railway line, like in Tokyo, where everything is suspended. So I've taken some little praline rocher, something very tasty, because when she's presented with the piece, it will be nice to taste a few chocolates.
The city has been built, but a final challenge awaits Patrick: transporting it intact. The cost of making it is several thousand euros, but a single knock could see it collapsing like a house of cards. Curiously, Patrick has chosen a sports car as a delivery van.
We'll have to lower the blanket, it's touching. It's very fragile. It's much more difficult transporting a piece like this than a piece made of glass. With glass, we can measure the resistance, but with this, we never know when it's going to break.
Have you broken a lot?
We break quite a few. Even though we have a lot of experience, there are always problems because we take risks in terms of the pieces. That's why I'm perhaps one of only a few people who make pieces like this. It will ruin all your work if it falls to the ground, and a whole week will have been lost.
We head for the Théâtre des Abbesses in Paris. Marianne Denicourt is on stage.
And my speech was well received. Yes, very well received. My hand was shaking to begin with, but everybody listened, and they even laughed at my jokes.
You? Telling jokes?
Yes. I was nervous, obviously, about the jokes, but they worked.
At the same time, at the stage door, the sculpture is still in one piece. But the spiral staircase is barely wide enough. It's the last obstacle before reaching the dressing rooms. It's an unusual showcase for a sculpture, but Patrick wants to surprise Marianne when she comes off stage.
Oh là là!
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Here's your city.
I can't eat it, it's too beautiful.
You can eat a little bit, at least.
Just a little bit then, because you do make the best chocolate in the world. André, come and see this. It's what you described in the play.
Yes, it's magnificent.
Magnificent. The river, the park, the gardens.
Here, if you want to taste, it's a little praline rocher.
Camille, try the chocolate.
Is this the first time you've been given a chocolate sculpture?
Well, yes, as you can imagine. And what an emotion for a chocolate lover like me. All the chocolates are exceptional. There are all sorts of tastes. And this idea of making chocolate sculptures is fantastic. It's like theater. It's ephemeral. At the end of a show, it's finished.
Chocolate's the same.
It's a real performance.
That's my latest creation.
So I'll taste it.
It's based on yuzu, a little lime from Japan.
Merveilleux, merci beaucoup.
Et c'est le chocolat qui m'a révélé au...
On ne sait pas comment l'attaquer. Un petit immeuble, un petit discret. Allez l'admirer, écoutez ce chocolat.
Peut-être faire un peu de sucre. Moi, mon but, c'est de...
My aim is to please.
And in truth, I'm the one who's happy.
He was a bit stressed, perhaps.
No.
It's difficult, but what's important is that clients keep coming back all the time. That's what's difficult, keeping them happy.
He's got my number. I'll have to take a photo before everyone eats it.
Whether it's eaten, admired, or massaged into our skin, chocolate is a magical gift, like so many souvenirs of our childhood innocence.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
It's really great. I think it's the best gift you can give. The best present I could dream of.